This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, it's game number 2 between the Milwaukee Brewers and St. Louis Cardinals. Last night, Trevor Rosenthal in the top of the 9th, and Hector Gomez would score the game-tying run. Extra innings, and in the 12th, he delivered with a bloop base hit. 3-2 would be the final. Milwaukee, a must-win situation. And now they have more hope heading into Game 2 tonight. Welcome to Cardinals baseball. That's Rick Horton. I'm Dan McLaughlin. All-important game for both these teams yet again tonight. And the Cardinals turn to Adam Wainwright.
Yeah, you have a lot of confidence with Wainwright taking the mound. A tough loss last night, but really a critical juncture for the Brewers. Cardinals would like to win, certainly, but the Brewers had to win last night. Cardinals still have enough, I think, to win this series, but the bats have to get it done.
So it's Adam Wainwright who gets the call tonight for St. Louis. It's game number 2, Milwaukee and St. Louis. Remembering Roberto Clemente, the tie into Mott when we come back. 1,000 hits in his major league career before he died in a 1972 plane crash while taking supplies to Nicaraguan earthquake victims. Clemente played his entire major league career with the Pirates. He won 2 World Series with the team. The year after he died at the age of 38, he was inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame, becoming its first Hispanic member. Here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, we celebrate the life and legacy of Roberto Clemente. The recipient, potentially, of that award in Major League Baseball, the nominee from St. Louis, Jason Mott.
Jason Mott, dealing with injuries over the last year and a half, has used his time wisely. He's gotten involved with families that are dealing with cancer. It really strikes home to him, and he's done a tremendous job with his program raising awareness to fight the disease.
Congratulations to the Cardinals, Jason Mott. First pitch, Cardinals and Brewers, is next. Bud Light Lime, the perfect beer for whatever happens. Come in and visit Mid-American Chevy dealers and make your move to Chevrolet today. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Meet me at the Stan the Man statue. It's been said for years here in St. Louis. A look at Adam Wainwright. Also a look at our DirecTV NL Central standings. The Cardinals up by 2.5 in front of Pittsburgh, and Milwaukee, with their dramatic win last night in 12 innings, they have pulled to within 4. The Cardinals will not have a crowd under 40,000 this season. Big crowd expected here tonight. Ron Renicky, let's take a look at his lineup for the Milwaukee Brewers. Carlos Gomez will lead it off. Then Scooter Gennett and Jonathan Lucroy. Aramis Ramirez, Ryan Braun. Then Parra. Overbay gets the start at first tonight. Segura, the shortstop, and Fires batting ninth. On the mound for St. Louis, it's a look at our key starter, and that is Adam Wainwright.
Wainwright won his 18th game his last time out, and Adam pitched very well against the Rockies. Went 8 solid innings, no walks and 8 strikeouts in that game, Dan. And Wainwright seems to have recovered from that dead arm period that he went through late August, and seems to be back on track again. I know the Brewers find him one of the toughest guys to beat in all of baseball. They talk about Kershaw, Wainwright. They're the best, and this is a team that is playing critical games here in St. Louis. The Brewers have to win, and they have to really win this series.
I would hope, and I think the Cardinals have a sense of urgency as well. Last night, such a disappointing game. He had the great start from Lance Lynn. Rosenthal, the walk in the ninth. He now has 40 plus this year for the Cardinal closer. And that came back to haunt St. Louis. Here's Carlos Gomez. Hitting .286, 21 home runs. He's driven in 69 and looks at strike one. One for 4 with 2 steals last night. The 0-1 pitch. What a shock. He almost fell over.
Tell you, one of the things I like about Wainwright is not just the fact that his arm may be feeling better, but I think he's picked up his delivery a little bit. I think he's quicker to the plate, not pausing quite as much at the top of his motion, and almost he got a little bit too slow in his delivery, I think, and that puts a little more strain on your arm, sometimes takes some velocity away.
Derek Lilliquist, the Cardinals pitching coach, and now 1-2. Gomez, a swing and a miss and a strikeout to start the night. Meet the Cardinals defensively for game 2 of this series with Holiday in left, Borges in center, John Jay is in right, then Carpenter, Peralta, Descalso and Adams along the infield, Yadier Molina behind the plate. Around the horn brought to you by Dobbs, and Descalso is making the start at second base here for game number 2. His playing time has increased a little bit here in the final few weeks of this regular season as Wong has a seat.
Swinging the bat a lot better. Descalso, I think his at-bats increasing has made him more comfortable. He played 3 days in a row. In fact, all those games were against left-handers, and I think he got a better feel, and he's really the only change in the Cardinals lineup, Descalso for Wong, than what we saw here last night.
Here's an 0-1 pitch to Scooter Gennett. Now 0-2. We've seen the fastball, little extra life, and also the pitch that defines Adam Wainwright. There is no doubt about it. His 12-6 breaking ball.
And I'm really focused on his mechanics too, Dan, because I just see him so quick right now, and he's pitching with that little urgency, perhaps even in his delivery. And the key when you do that, you still have to make sure you don't get out in front of yourself and then up hanging the curveball. But he certainly didn't do it that last delivery or there.
And a strikeout. That's number 2, blocked by Molina. And a strike to first in Big Matt Adams.
The quicker delivery, the curveball in the dirt, and Yachty smothering.
Jonathan Lucroy is hitting .303. 13 home runs. He's driven in 67. And having one of the top offensive years in the history of the Milwaukee Brewers for a catcher. There's some conversation he could be looked at as an MVP of the National League. I don't think that's going to happen, but it does give you an idea of the year that he's had.
Well, he's had a big year, no question about that. The 51 doubles that lead the league, and the batting average 6th in the National League, and he's done a nice job catching for the Brewers. Of course, the Brewers were out in front for so long. I think people were trying to find out now, why is that? Braun's not having a good year. The pitching staff's good, but how's Ron Renicke's club doing it? And I think all the fingers started pointing to Lucroy, which is why he's gotten so much attention.
1-1 pitch, drops in for strike 2.
Boy, is he in attack mode.
Big time. Just the mannerisms, getting the ball right back to the mound. When he acts like that, you see that. Usually he's very confident in his stuff. Talked about him a couple of starts ago, getting that bulldog back. I'm seeing it here so far. 1-2 pitch. That ball hits the dirt, and it's off to the authenticator provided by the Cardinals in Major League Baseball. They'll say it's a 2-2 pitch. 2 outs in the top of the first, and if you want to buy it, just head over to Cardinals Authentics. If it hits the dirt, it's out. Can he strike out the side? The 2-2. Full count. Wainwright has had an incredible season. He's trying to become a 19-game winner. Certainly a shot to get to 20 this year. Two outs and nobody on. And a 3-2 pitch to Jonathan Lucroy in just a moment as he calls time. Aramis Ramirez, who has great numbers against Wainwright, is on deck. The 3-2. A 2-out walk, and it brings in the aforementioned Ramirez.
Lucroy also one of the toughest players in the National League to strike out, and a good indication there why. Doesn't chase, knows the zone well.
We saw him last night a handful of times with 2 strikes, just pop 1 foul, stays in the competition.
Dan, you gave the number last night. Now 236 career hits for Aramis Ramirez against the Cardinals. There are thousands of players who played this game that never got 235 hits or 236.
Signed back in 1998 by the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I'm sure this is one that they'd love to have back. Ramirez was traded to Chicago. Randall Simon, part of the deal. Kenny Lofton, when the Cubs are making a run in 2003. He had some great years with Chicago. And now here with Milwaukee. Here's the 0-1. Catches the corner, and it's 0-2. Ramirez a couple of times last night having words with our home plate umpire. That was Brian Knight. This evening, it's Manny Gonzalez calling the balls and strikes. Outfield is very, very deep. That's as deep as you're going to see Holiday play in left. Here's an 0-2 pitch by Wainwright. Curveball on a hop to third. Carpenter across the diamond. Cardinals coming up in the bottom of the first, and there's no score here at Busch Stadium. St. Louis. Matt Carpenter will lead it off, followed by John Jay, Matt Holliday. The cleanup man is Matt Adams. Then Johnny Peralta, the Cardinals shortstop with 21 home runs to lead the club. Yadier Molina, Daniel Descalso, Peter Borges, and Adam Wainwright. The intrigue is high with Mike Fiers. How will he react since this happened? That's his last start as he hit Stanton in the face. Today, Stanton coming out and saying that he will not return this year. Carried off in a stretcher. Next batter up and in hits him. Fiers was so emotional after that start, upset. I'm sure thinking about 1,000 different things. Did I hurt the man? Is his career over? What did they think was I trying to do? Was I trying to hit him? And it's an emotional game. It's an emotional situation.
And what Rick Kranitz has said that Fiers was doing at that moment was he was just so distraught that they thought that he was doing that on purpose, especially after hitting Stanton. That pitch, the subsequent pitch was actually close to the inside corner, and he felt that there was a little diving going on that second one. And the reality is he's a guy that has to pitch inside. So I'm curious how he'll feel about doing that here tonight against right-handed batters that like to kind of take that inside part away, especially Matt Holliday.
That's the one that stands out.
That's going to be interesting. Holliday gets hit a lot.
The other thing is that Mike Fiers, when he's right, he pitches up in the zone. He's a guy that likes to pitch up. That's how he'll get strikeouts. But that's the big question around the ballpark. How will he respond here in his first start back? Taken low by Carpenter. 1 ball, 1 strike. You have Jay on deck, and then the right-handed hitting Matt Holliday.
And he's really been good for them and stingy as far as base runners are concerned. He doesn't throw crazy hard, but he's got the good curveball, the good changeup, and 6-2, 1.8 ERA, and the batting average against him is really low. And I think the problem with the fastball up and in is people read curveball, because he has that big curveball that starts high, and I think that's what happened to that second hitter, and I believe it was Reed Johnson following Stanton, that pitch that he actually swung at wasn't any different than the pitch before. It was in the same spot, but I think he read curveball, and that again is where you get in a little trouble if you're a pitcher that relies on that inside corner.
You can see the tears welling up in his eyes in his post-game interviews, trying to explain himself. He was frustrated. He was upset. I'm sure worried about Stanton and a 1-2 pitch. Carpenter hits a liner out to center, but Gomez is there. Parra is a 2-time Gold Glover. He's in left. Gomez in center, and Braun is in right. Ramirez, Segura, Jeanette, Overbay along the infield. The Brewers defense and around the horn brought to you by Dobbs. Jonathan Lucroy, the National League All-Star Game starter for the National League, behind the plate. So tonight it's Lyle Overbay getting the start at first base. We saw Clark last night. John Jay is hitting .309 with 3 home runs. He's driven in 40.
Had a chance to look at the full sequence of pitches to Giancarlo Stanton that Fiers threw him that game, and there were 6 pitches in a row on the outer half, and Stanton hit 2 bullets, one of the third baseman, one of the left fielder, and it was away. And I think he read curveball as well. The ball started out in, and he just kind of kept going into it. And you know, hitters like to dive. They like to take that outside corner away, and I'm not blaming Stanton for getting hit, but it's why it's so dangerous with guys throwing as hard as they do today, that to establish the inner half with guys that like to dive, I mean, I just think we're going to have more and more incidences like that, and it's too bad.
Here's a 1-2, and Jay strikes out looking. So this may be the big test here. Right-handed hitter in Matt Holliday as we turn to Rick's Toyota keys to the game.
Well, the first key, Dan, is for the Cardinals offense to click, and we saw this offense really not clicking all year. It was good, it was okay, but nothing spectacular. But in September, there have been moments where it's just all come together. I think that's a key. The Cardinals to get back on track with that. And for Adam Wainwright to continue to get stronger. He was better his last game than he was the game before, and way better the game before than he was the game before that. So keep that trajectory going into late September and October.
And it's ball 1 to Holliday, way outside and low. Again, this is a right-handed batter. It's on the inside portion of the plate. The book on Holliday has always been pitch him in. And Lucroy sets up outside. He hits his spot, and it's 1-1. What is going through the mind right now of Mike Fiers?
Oh, it's got to be in there somewhere. You know, you try to bury it, Dan. You try to forget about it. And again, from what we've been told, it was a pretty traumatic moment for him. I read some tweets that he sent out the next day and how bad he felt about what had happened and wishing Stanton well. But you know, you're trying to compete the best way you know how, but you're a little afraid to use one of your weapons, which is that fastball middle in. Down and in doesn't have the same effect. That last pitch he threw down and in doesn't set up his curveball the way up and in does.
2-1 the count here on Holiday. Gomez extremely deep, shading Holiday a bit to the opposite way. Hit sharply to second base. There's Scooter Gennett, positioned perfectly. And a 1-2-3 inning for Mike Fiers. Coming up, Ryan Braun, no score. Some news with the rotation. We're going to start with Michael Wacha. Where does he fit?
Well, Michael Wacha was held out of his start on Sunday. The Cards saying that it was a little break for Wacha. They wanted to give him time to work on his command and take a little rest. Well, the rest is over. Wacha threw a side today. Told me he didn't even keep track of how many pitches he threw, but he said he felt great, good enough for Mike Matheny to slot Wacha for a start on Saturday against Cincinnati. Matheny says Wacha just needed more repetition to work on some of his command issues, and Wacha thinks he's ready. He says he even thinks he's figured out some of the issues with his changeup. That changeup, guys, as you know, has been MIA for Wacha.
There's no doubt. John Lackey will go in that series as well, as Ryan Braun is the hitter for Milwaukee. Then we'll see Parra and Overbay. How about John Lackey and going into that start?
Yeah, he's been dealing with some tightness in his shoulder. His spot in the rotation was skipped for this series, the Milwaukee series, but he'll return to the rotation Friday night against Cincinnati. Lackey told me he could have pitched through his issues, but he thinks skipping a start might have actually helped him. He's been getting treatment, and he had a very good bullpen yesterday, so it'll be Wacha and Lackey in a big back in the rotation series against the Reds.
And finally, Trevor Rosenthal had a rough outing last night. Where do the Cardinals stand with their closer in the back end of games?
Yeah, he's had some issues with his control. Leadoff walk in the ninth last night proved costly. I asked Mike Matheny if he had any feedback for Rosenthal about the control issues, and he said, not to be Captain Obvious, but nobody wants to allow walks. He says Rosenthal has good control, has been dominant in the postseason, and has a proven track record. He says the last thing you want to do, Dan, is harp on the walks. He says there's a danger that a pitcher changes something and messes up his mechanics. Mike says he stays positive, especially with Trevor, and points out what a great season he's having.
Jim, good stuff as always. Thank you. And Trevor Rosenthal, the walks have been piling up this year, and that is of concern, no question about it. 63 2/3 innings thrown, and the breaking ball is hit for a double play. 4-6-3. Descalso had a little trouble getting it out of the glove, but they turned two. A smile from Daniel.
And really, to underscore what Jim is saying about Rosenthal, 75 innings a year ago, just 20 walks. So he's a guy that did throw strikes. This year, over 40 walks.
41.
And one of the few pitchers in the history of the game of baseball who have saved 40 games and walked 40 batters in the same season. Very few times has that happened, and it's something I know he's certainly working on, he's aware of. But command for a closer is important. You can't be good most of the time. You need him every time.
Here's Lyle Overbay. That shot behind home plate. Get a good look at the speed of Major League Baseball as Overbay hits it to the right side. Adams underhands to Wainwright. Leadoff single by Braun. He's erased on the double play, and 6 pitches in the inning for Waino. A chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T. Those guys are pumped, ready to go, ready for a Cardinal win tonight. Either that or they have been stuffed with cotton candy. One or the other, or maybe both.
I'm just imagining their teacher, if they're all in the same class, them standing up at their desk and doing that.
There's some little Arnold Horseshacks.
Oh, no. That's it. You're all out. Principal's office. Did you ever get sent to the principal's office, Dan?
I could say no, but I could be lying, and I don't lie on these telecasts, and I know you'll find it shocking that it happened multiple times.
Yeah, I got a couple of those, too. One for talking.
And you want to shut me up for 3 days.
And one for playing catch with a guy on the other side of the room during class.
I had a issue with that,
which
too.
You shouldn't do.
I had some spitball issues. Grew out of that one. Rick, of course, sizing up some of the tattoos that he may have to get if the Cardinals win the World Series, and a dangling earring. As Adams hits it sharply, the diving stop by Jeanette, and he takes a hit away. They had the shift on for Adams, and Jeanette playing on the outfield grass. Roberto Clemente Day around Major League Baseball as they honor one of the greats and also those that make a difference off the field. And again, congratulations to Jason Mott, the nominee from the St. Louis Cardinals.
Really outstanding play here, and really the positioning is the key. He's playing a very deep second base, and he's not playing so deep that he doesn't have time to throw out Adams, and it's one of the things that we've seen work the most in my mind as far as shifts are concerned, when you have the second baseman deep taking away hits from big left-handed hitters.
Or even some right-handed hitters like here with Peralta, and he goes the other way. It's well hit into right center, and Gomez makes the play. Reminder that season tickets are available to you for the 2015 season. One of the best ways to get them is to buy postseason tickets for 2014. It's all at cardinals.com/season. Once again, Cardinals will draw over 3.5 million fans this year, and they will not have a crowd under 40,000. Amazing. Here's Yadier Molina, and the first pitch taken for a ball. Cardinals in Major League Baseball in the bottom third in terms of market size, and yet the highest TV ratings and some of the biggest crowds right here, the gateway city. You don't think that these fans have made a difference? There's no doubt about it. The win percentage for the St. Louis Cardinals. I was talking with Tony La Russa the other night, and he said, well, it's the chicken or the egg, one or the other. Nice play. Jeanette. The fans come out, players feed off that, and vice versa. Synergy. You got it. More than ever, we see shifts in the game, and it paid off that inning for the Milwaukee Brewers.
There's the second baseman, Jeanette. He's playing a deep position for the slugger, Matt Adams, and he's in the right spot, and he's got good hands and makes the good play to throw out Adams. Later in the inning, he's in a very different spot. He's playing up the middle against Molina, and again in the right spot. He gets the one hopper, again has good hands, and has to wait for Overbay, who had shifted over, to get back to the bag. So perfectly positioned that inning for Ron Renneke.
Top of the third, and Gene Segura, 8th place hitter. Then we'll see Mike Fiers and Carlos Gomez. And a ground ball on the first pitch. There's Descalso. One pitch and one out for Wainwright, who had a very efficient second inning. 2 strikeouts in the first. And he wants a new baseball. Going back to what Jim was talking about, Michael Wacha. I was visiting with John Mozeliak before the game, and he said, bottom line, it's a gamble to have him start, but the leash is much shorter on Michael Wacha in terms of where they're at in the season and what they can reasonably expect from their right-hander.
Well, to me, it all turns on his changeup, and there's a lot of talk about a lot of things related to Michael Wacha, but if he does not have the feel for his changeup, I think what that forces you to do is throw more curveballs than you're really used to throwing. So that's not really Wacha either. He needs to develop that, yes. But if that's his primary off-speed pitch, he's not the same guy we saw a year ago. That changeup is devastating, and he hasn't had the feel for it yet. To me, that's the key.
Strikeout of Fiers, and team photo day here at the ballpark. The players, the coaches, the legends. Love being around that guy. We're so lucky to have the Hall of Famers that we do that are still with us and still in uniform, some of them, including 92-year-old Red Schoendienst.
Fortunate enough to be around him. You know him to be a man that's certainly very wise about life and baseball, but what a gentleman.
Oh, none finer. He was giving me trouble the other day. You think I don't listen to you? I was listening and you messed up a story. Now let me tell you about it. It was great. I said, Red, what did I do?
I'm just glad that wasn't me. I'm kind of happy it was you. Red tells some great stories, and I thought about one day where I was around him around the batting cage, and he was talking about many of the details about what it was like to travel by train, and it's just phenomenal to hear him tell those stories.
This may be a base hit, and it is. Carlos Gomez. He's limping a little bit, Gomez, and I wonder if he hurt himself. Arguably the most famous story for Red Schoendienst concerning trains is a train station and sleeping outside Union Station before he signed with the Cardinals.
Boy, he's running loud, that's for sure. Gomez has a lot of flair to him, which can kind of get under your skin a little bit when you compete against him. But you talk to anybody in Milwaukee, all of his teammates, they just think he is the real deal. They love him as a teammate, but they also understand how his flair might get a little annoying. But you cannot question his ability. We'll see if he was setting up the Cardinals here. He wouldn't be the first player to limp past first base and then fly down to second.
Scooter Gennett at the plate. The story, by the way, with Red Schoendienst is that he ran out of money. He's from Illinois and had a tryout with the Cardinals, then had to stay another day, and I'm shortening the story, but he didn't have enough money to go anywhere to sleep.
Went to the train station first. They kicked him out. He had to sleep on a park bench. Then they kicked him out of that and had to get into a hotel. Wowed everybody the next day.
And from that to Cooperstown, and one of our favorites. Wainwright looks sharp here early on. The great Red Schoendienst. Man, are we lucky. Is brought to you by Schnucks, your neighborhood hometown grocer for 75 years. Beautiful night here at Busch Stadium, home to the St. Louis Cardinals. And it'll be Descalso, Borges, and Wainwright, 7, 8, and 9 in the lineup for St. Louis. A bit surprised to see Descalso in there and not Colton Wong.
Yeah, I know Mike is trying to keep players sharp in September, but you're also trying to put your number one lineup out there. And, you know, maybe you saw some things in Colton Wong yesterday he didn't like. We talked about how he was lunging a little bit the game before. His feet weren't quite as steady, and maybe he's just trying to get him an extra day to get that timing back.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Descalso.
Colton's just 1 for his last 12.
Right. The man that brought Red Shandies to St. Louis signed him, Branch Rickey. And his tie to this franchise runs deep in his history. And I was talking with Bill DeWitt. We were at a season ticket holder function tonight. I was emceeing it, and we started talking about his favorite items over at Ballpark Village. And the DeWitt family has spent well over $1 million to provide some of the most unique memorabilia outside of Cooperstown in baseball history. One of the jerseys that they have over there is a Branch Rickey 1919 uniform. As Descalso pops it foul and out of play. And prior to 1920, there's only a handful of uniforms that you can find. And yet they had a Branch Rickey uniform from 1919. He was not only the GM, but he became the manager as well because it was more cost efficient to do it that way.
He was all about cost efficient.
You bet. He could be a little tight with the pennies. That's fouled back. Some really neat things over at Ballpark Village and the Hall of Fame and Museum. They honor the St. Louis Stars over there. That was the Negro Leagues team. You have a look back at the St. Louis Browns. They were here until the early 1950s and then moved to Baltimore. 3-2 pitch. And a leadoff walk by Daniel Descalso.
I think that's a great reality of Branch Rickey, that Danny's a guy that was known for being very conservative and counting all of his pennies, but yet he was courageous enough and visionary enough to give Jackie Robinson an opportunity and invent the minor leagues. And you know, today, of course, we're talking about Roberto Clemente Day, and that kind of led down the road to all of the players from Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Colombia, getting a chance to play Major League Baseball. And Roberto Clemente, as you mentioned in the open, the first Latin player to go in the Hall of Fame.
The contributions by Rickey to this game, the most significant, undoubtedly, signing Jackie Robinson. And it's the most significant by a long shot. However, he's the man that created the farm system, too.
And you're looking at the birds on the bat of Peter Borges right now. Where'd they come from?
That's right.
Branch Rickey. At a church event, it was the decorative cards on the table. He liked it. Asked the person who kind of laid that out just as kind of a table setting, really. Thought that would be a great depiction of his organization, and it went through a few revisions, and here we are with the birds on the bat.
Here's an 0-1 pitch to Peter Borges. And you'll notice with the uniform here in 2014, the actual birds on the bat are bigger. They created the Saturday uniform, the St. Louis uniform at home, and then the birds that you see there on the bat are enlarged the last couple of seasons. One of the great uniforms in all of sports. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Peter Borges. Big gap in left center. 1-2. Wrap it up with the Brewers tomorrow. Cincinnati in town will wrap up then the home portion of the schedule. Off to Wrigley Field in Chicago beginning Monday night. 3 night games at Wrigley, the off day, and then 3 in Arizona, and it all comes to a close in the regular season. One ball and 2 strikes. Just missed. Wainwright is on deck.
You mentioned Descalso playing, Dan, who's the runner at first base with a leadoff walk. We also do not see Oscar Taveras in this game. We thought we might see him last night, but the Cardinals opting to go with the defensive Borges, believing that that's an important way to beat the Brewers, to have him out controlling center field. So Oscar again on the bench, but certainly a threat later in this game.
A check on Descalso. We saw him pinch hit last night. He did strike out.
But both he and Grichuk have done a nice job of pinch hitting. That's a pretty good lefty-righty thing they've got going.
Grichuk lined out to left last night as a pinch hitter. Wouldn't it be something if Peter Borges could see his former team, the Angels, in the World Series? It may happen. Descalso reads it on his way to second, and what a throw by Lucroy. Wow. Outstanding play from the Brewers catcher.
That throw literally had to be right on the base for it to work. Descalso does read it quickly, and that throw is right there. I mean, right where his foot is sliding into the bag. I mean, there's not a lot of time, and boy, you got to credit Jeanette too for getting the tag down and getting it in the right spot.
I think Descalso was shocked.
Look at that throw. It's on his foot. The throw is literally on his foot.
Only place it could go to get him.
Wow.
The count now is full, 3-2 on Borges. Don't tell me players aren't scoreboard watching. They can look up and see that Pittsburgh leads their game 9-1 over Boston. And if you tell me, Ricky, that you sat in the bullpen, Dan, we did not scoreboard watch, I don't believe you.
And I would not actually say that. I would say we at least scoreboard peaked. I'm not saying I was watching it at all times, but I'd look at it. What else are you going to do in the bullpen?
You got me on a technicality.
No, I think when players say they don't scoreboard watch, it's interesting. Holiday's one of those that'll say, of course we do. Of course we know what's going on.
And of course they do.
Of course they do.
And speaking of pennant chases, the race is wrapping up around Major League Baseball. MLB returns to Fox. Tigers and Royals square off. Then on Fox 1, Cardinals take on the Reds. Action starts at 11:30 on Fox, continues at 6. Fox Sports 1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
And Dan, obviously the reason players will say that is they are conditioned every day to try to block things out. I mean, that's how you focus on a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. That's how you focus on pitching in front of 50,000 people, is blocking out a lot of things that can grab your attention.
Here's the 0-1. Only worry about what you can control. I know, I've heard it all.
We had a nice group of
I'm scoreboard watching.
Cardinal fans here. We had a little baseball 101 session with some of our sponsors, and Tyler Lyons was there talking to people who really didn't know much about baseball. And he was saying just that, as he said, you know, we're so focused that, because they asked him, does the noise bother you? And he said, I don't hear noise when I'm pitching. I mean, I really don't. I do on the bench, and you do in the bullpen. But when you're on the mound, you get this ability to just block everything out at such an extreme level. And I remember a day when I came home and told my wife that I hadn't heard the story she just said, because I was practicing my ability to focus and block things out, which was helping me in my career, and she didn't buy it for 1 minute.
Yeah, I've been using that for years. Doesn't fly.
Hey, it was worth a shot, though.
Oh, great effort. I applaud your effort.
I did. I literally tried that. I actually was laughing at myself, but I tried it.
That may have been the best analysis work you've done all year. I'm going home tomorrow. What? I focused on tonight. What are you talking about?
It's my gift.
You spent what?
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Let me know how that goes.
Libby, if you're watching, you're the best, and I mean it. Is with MLB.com at bat, #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy look-ins, reviews, scores, radio broadcasts, and more. MLB.tv Game of the Day. It's for your smartphone or tablet. Visit MLB.com. Cardinals that have won the Clemente Award. Carlos Beltran a year ago, Albert Pujols, Ozzie Smith, and the great Lou Brock back in 1975. Cardinals Care, by the way, distributed over $155,000 to youth groups and charities, and Jason Mott, I emceed it and interviewed him. It was today as well, and he's very touched by the response he's gotten with Strikeout Cancer and the T-shirts. And the day that was done by Major League Baseball that he started raised over $50,000.
And those guys, 4 guys that we just saw, and Jason Mott, would all be examples of guys that are just not kind of lending them your name and saying, hey, hope everything goes well, or showing up. I mean, they're invested at the heart, and I think that's really what Roberto Clemente did with the things he got involved in, and I think that's how you win that award, and that's how you're recognized. And I'm just imagining those 4 guys we saw in that graphic. That's a pretty good 1, 2, 3, 4 in an order. Imagine
I'd say
that.
so.
Brock leading off, let Ozzie hit second, Albert third, Beltran fourth. I think you'd win some games.
I think so.
And serve some people while you're doing it.
The strike to Lucroy. It'll be Jonathan Lucroy, Aramis Ramirez, and Ryan Braun. Cardinals Care began back in 1997. Since that time, they have distributed over $21 million, and the newest field that will go up, good breaking ball, will be the Tony La Russa field, not too far away from where we're at tonight here in downtown St. Louis. They recently had their 6K run. That raised a ton of money. 6K in honor of the greatest Cardinal of them all, Stan the Man. And a team from Viva Alberto's, the top fundraising team for Cardinals Care. That 6K run. They are passionate about the St. Louis Cardinals. And a ground ball. It's hit deep in the hole. Peralta, long throw, and save at first.
I wonder if Peralta may have had a better shot had he planted and thrown in on the fist. Good pitch by Wainwright, and off balance throw really does get rid of it quickly though, and a strong throw, and Lucroy beats it. Very close.
Barely. Cardinals, I think, are thinking about challenging.
Interesting that Mike Matheny is not leaving the dugout to do it. And it's hard to tell where the ball is. Is it in the back of the glove? And it has to hit the back of the glove before the foot hits the base. Very tough to tell.
There's a broken bat liner, and the catch is made by Carpenter, and that's off the bat of Ramirez.
Have you seen a manager not go on the field while they're waiting for that delay? Have you seen that happen?
No. First time. And even if the manager doesn't come out, maybe a Matt Adams would walk towards the pitcher to slow things up. As you get a look at our BJC Healthcare difference maker, last 5 starts combined, the Cardinals, what they've done. ERA 1.30. That continued last night with Lance Lynn. And moving forward tonight, it's Adam Wainwright.
Cardinals got the great start from Marco Gonzalez, and we keep talking about Lackey and Waka, but I don't know if you want to fully forget about Marco Gonzalez too. I think he's got an upside to him. Very young, clearly, but as well as he pitched in his last outing, you've got to at least give him some consideration on how he might help you in the next, hopefully, month or so.
There's a look at Marco and Shelby Miller there on the right. How about Lynn? He was terrific last night. He's been the most consistent starter for the Cardinals all season long. I realize you're worried about postseason play and you're worried about setting a rotation, but you also have an eye towards the future. Regardless of what the Cardinals want to do with Lance Lynn in terms of a long-term contract, they have his rights for the next 3 seasons. The question is, do you buy that out and then 2 years of free agency or 3 years? A lot of it is dependent on what Lynn wants to do too. Is he open to that? Cardinals have had great success. Molina comes to mind. Wainwright comes to mind. Pujols of locking guys up. And usually those contracts have come back twofold in favor of St. Louis. Not to say that the player isn't getting his money. He's getting paid. But if he waited and just did arbitration years, it's a different story.
Well, there's a contract factor as the season winds down, but there's also a experience factor for some of the younger players. And you kind of have this double-edged sword with that as well. You want to get young guys to play in a pennant race, because think about how that will help you down the road. But you don't want to do that at the expense of winning games.
Right.
So that how do you kind of balance? You know, should Tavares be in the lineup today and Grichuk and give him some opportunities and playing the Brewers, and this will be something that'll make them a better player? Well, you got to win this game.
Strikeout of Ryan Braun. That's 4 tonight for Wainwright. It's a nasty pitch on the outside corner.
Cutter. Ryan Braun is not right.
His bat, to me, correct me if I'm wrong, looks like he's sweeping through the zone instead of
it's
the attack
exactly
that
right.
we normally see.
Yeah, he doesn't have the bat speed that we're used to. It doesn't have the. It almost doesn't even have a clear path. It's almost like a golfer who's off his swing plane. He just doesn't seem smooth at all. Almost a 2-part swing.
Past Adams and into right field. Lucroy will head to third, and runners at the corners. Parra just ripped that baseball into right field. Second hit in the inning, and it brings in Lyle Overbay.
Parra had a good day yesterday. There's Adams holding him on, and he's ready for it. It's just too quick past him, and very deep in right was John Jay to keep that to a single. Parra runs well. The Cardinals have been playing a lot of no doubles defense early on. Chris Maloney often is the one giving that sign. No doubles means no doubles. Play deep enough that the ball will not hit over your head.
2 outs, runners at first and third, and a breaking ball swung on and missed by Overbay. He chopped one to first, and he's 0 for 1 tonight.
Well, we're talking about no doubles defense, and Chris Maloney setting the outfielders. He's pointing at that moment to the hitter. For this guy, we want you to play deep enough that he doesn't hit the ball over your head. And that little sign behind your head, somebody invented that, maybe Branch Rickey, to mean no doubles. And it's been kind of the universal sign for no doubles defense.
1 ball and 1 strike. Foul back and a good cut. Wainwright trying to put away Lyle Overbay's pitch count. Very efficient tonight at 45. Inning started with an infield hit by Lucroy. Line out by Ramirez. Strikeout of Braun. Base hit by Parra to right. And now 1 and 2 with 2 outs. We talk about it a lot, but the confidence that a pitcher has when the catcher puts down the sign for a breaking ball, and a guy like Wainwright that truly has a 12-6 with a runner at third, the confidence knowing your catcher keeps that in front.
If you don't have that confidence, you might as well just cross that pitch off and look for something else.
Yeah.
And Wainwright wouldn't throw it if he didn't feel that Molina could handle it, but of course he can.
The crowd has come alive. The 2-2 pitch to Lyle Overbay on its way. Just missed on the outside corner.
Tried to go through the back door and just kind of stayed outside a bit for Wainwright. Wouldn't be surprised if he repeats right here.
Segura on deck. Three-two pitch by Adam Wainwright. Curveball, he went back with it. Would he do it a third time?
I would guess he'd throw a cutter here, but Overbay in no condition and no situation to be able to guess for Wainwright, because if you guess one, you won't hit the other, so you just have to react. But watching Wainwright work, there are times he likes to follow up the curveballs with cutters.
3-2 pitch. Missed. And he went with the cutter. Second walk issued by Adam, and now the base is loaded for Gene Segura.
Dan, you're talking about Molina's ability to block balls. There are catchers in the minor leagues and been around it. You'll see that the catcher himself will be afraid to call a curveball in that situation. He won't even put it down because he doesn't have enough confidence in himself. And you'll see that in stealing situations. They want fastballs only, says they want to be able to throw guys out. Those minor league catchers usually stay minor league catchers.
Segura bounced out to second. First time up. Curveball, a beauty, in there for strike one. Big gap in left center field. The 0-1 pitch. Driven to center, but Borges is there. The Brewers and Segura strand the bases loaded. Moments ago, the curveball. Yeah, that thing's pretty nasty, isn't it? Man, oh man.
You hit it, Garth.
Don't miss the 2014 postseason beginning September 30th. Fox Sports 1. We are in St. Louis along with Rick Gordon. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Wherever you may be, we hope you're enjoying Cardinals baseball tonight. The Cardinals will have Matt Carpenter, John Jay, and Matt Holliday due up. We wondered at the start of the telecast about Mike Fiers. How would he respond to what happened in his previous start, hitting Giancarlo Stanton? Well, we're getting our answer. He has struck out 3, he's walked 1, and no hits allowed.
We mentioned how good he's been all season long in terms of opponents' batting average, is 176. And he also is a strike thrower, so not a lot of base runners. His whip is amazing. And you can almost see how a team could face him for a couple of innings and say, you know what, we're going to have to kind of dive out over the plate a little bit and start protecting that outer half, and we're going to have to be a little more up on the plate and aggressive against him. Again, he's not overpowering. That's a fastball at 87, Dan. He's not really bringing it here, but that over-the-top delivery, I think it's tough to pick up the release point from Fiers.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball, and it's strike 2. Carpenter lined out to center. Fiers also works from the third base side of the rubber, so against right-handers, he does that specifically to try to get in on him.
You see the little tough toe, too, on his right cleat. Some fans are wondering about what that is. You drag your toe with your delivery, and you go through shoes too quickly if you don't have that little extra padding on it. We'll show it to you again, but it's on the right foot. You see how dirty it is, and that's from dragging that right foot in your delivery. And there are young pitchers who don't get that, and they're used to put something called shoe goo on it, and then it was tough toe. Then they're just made that way now, but it's just reinforcement to keep you from ripping right through your shoe. He's got it on both, but he's giving that one a workout.
John Jay struck out looking. First time up. That floats in for strike 1. 0-2. Overlooked in the Cardinals' loss, and a lot of the attention went to Trevor Rosenthal and the blown save, and eventually a loss for the Cardinals. The fact was that they only had 7 hits in the game, and they have no hits here tonight. Offense has been streaky at times this year. 0-2 pitch. Jay fights it off, hit down the left field line, slicing, just foul.
Well, Dan, the Cardinals only stranded 4 runners in 12 innings. That means they didn't have a lot of them. And losing 3-2, both the runs came in the first inning, and first 4 Cardinals reached base, but they only managed the 2 runs. Should have had more, could have had more. And Willie Peralta figured it out and was nasty after that. There's the right foot, the extra padding, and you drag it after you release it, and that shoe will have a hole in it if you don't have that reinforcement.
0-2 pitch. Good cut by Jay. Where it gets tough from the Brewers' perspective of things, not only trailing the St. Louis Cardinals, but this is the first stop of 3 cities. Long road trip for Milwaukee. After this, they'll play 3 at Pittsburgh. They'll enjoy an off day and then go to Cincinnati. They'll finish up with the Cubs at home. Jay, a bouncer to first, and handled by Overbay. 2 down. McDonald's is so confident that you'll love their McCafe coffee that they are willing to let all of St. Louis try it for free during their free coffee event September 16th through the 29th during breakfast hours.
And Dan, we do have a correction on Twitter. It was not Branch Rickey who created the no doubles defense. It was High Pockets Kelly.
There he is again. Amazing talent. High
I'm
Pockets.
not sure that's true, but a fun tweet anyway. We've been talking quite a bit about him. One of our favorite all-time players now.
Mentioned Fires, and the first right-handed batter he would see would be Holiday, and that pitch tied him up just a bit.
So he was knee-high the first at-bat. He's belt-high there. That's more effective.
Here's the 0-1. And a 1-1 pitch. Taken outside. 2-1.
Most hitters understand, and Holiday's been hit so many times this year, that there are going to be times where pitchers try to bust you in and you get hit in the arm, the ribs. That's going to happen. Around the head, that's a different story. I think that's why Miami obviously was upset with Fires even on the second batter.
Boy, did he get away with that pitch. That pitch said, hit me. Holiday did. He ripped it foul.
I believe that was a cutter that didn't cut. It stayed right on the inner half.
The 2-2. And Holiday goes the other way. It's well hit, going back drawn and with room. Mike Fires, no hits allowed through 4. And no score here in St. Louis in Game 2 of this all-important series. How it unfolded, the Cardinals won the division. They were tied with Pittsburgh at that time. Cincinnati 2.5 out. Here in 2014, Pittsburgh 2.5 out. Milwaukee now 4. Cincinnati out of the picture. Strike to Mike fires. Little chopper, Wainwright, the Gold Glover, off the mound and just got him. Wow. Even Wainwright, you can see his reaction. Ooh, that was close.
Didn't see that in the scouting report. He took his time, as he should. Did a little crow hop, as he should. And barely gets it.
As he should.
Thank you for finishing that. And did he get him? Yes. Woo. Close play.
Wonder how tempted Wainwright would be in that kind of play to get right back on the mound and try to speed it up and get Gomez in there. Gomez fiddling around with his batting gloves, maybe steps out to allow the Brewers to take a harder look at that play to see if Fires was safe. Hit the other way and a base hit. Falls in front of John Jay.
Well, the other thing you often do is give your pitcher a chance to kind of catch his breath by taking some pitches, and Gomez not thinking that. Typically with 2 outs you'll do that. But Gomez such a free swinger, and now you've got to deal with his speed again.
Now Scooter Gennett, who is struck out swinging and also grounded out to second. Big lead by Gomez at first. 2 steals last night, and that's strike 1. In terms of inducing double plays in the National League, Wainwright the best at 23. That's updated. Parra hit into a 4-6-3 double play back in the second inning.
Interesting that Charlie Morton is still on that list with as much time as he's missed this year. He's back in the rotation for Pittsburgh and pitched well his last outing. Pittsburgh definitely a team to be concerned about right now. They're playing very good baseball, and Polanco swinging the bat. You've got McCutchen, one of the best players in the game, and boy, if they could get Alvarez back. He's back, but been dealing with some foot problems. That's a big power spot in the lineup that they're missing.
Here's an 0-1 pitch by Wainwright. Chop to the right side. Descalso will get the lead man.
Pretty gutsy play there.
And important to get Gomez. Takes him out of scoring position and off the diamond with his good speed. Gennett now at first. Overbay will be the hitter.
When Daniel makes errors, he tries to do things too quickly. And could have easily kind of rushed that play, but he didn't. Made a nice firm throw and got the lead runner. Just like High Pockets Kelly would have.
No doubt.
Who, by the way, was 5 for 5 on this date in 1923 with 3 home runs.
Out to right field. That'll stay in the ballpark, and High Pockets approves. this Sunday, September 21st, and the Cardinals take on the Reds. All fans entering with a ticket receive a 2015 Cardinals schedule. That's presented by Shelter Insurance and a ticket voucher for a home game next season. Tickets still available. Final home game of the season this Sunday at Cardinals.com. And Lance Lynn will make that start for St. Louis. Matt Adams will lead it off, followed by Johnny Peralta and Yadier Molina.
Shift on again for Adams. Jeanette, very deep second base. Segura, right side of the infield. Ramirez way off the line.
And a strike. Adams popped it up. Lucroy near the screen and makes a tremendous catch. Here you're at a visiting ballpark. You're trying to get your bearings straight around you and find the track, find the wall, then make the play.
That little stab at the end, and he's trying to check out all the elements. You wondered whether the on-deck hitter, Johnny Peralta, may be in his way. He knows there's a brick wall there and somehow came up with it. Cardinals, by the way, Dan, long time since they've scored a run.
Since the first yesterday. And 2 runs in the first, a bases loaded walk, and then Peralta in the key at bat in the game. Bases loaded, nobody out, bounced into a 6-4-3 double play following the walk.
15 scoreless then going into this inning.
I'm not sure, though, where this club would be without Johnny Peralta and what he's done and his contributions this season. It's been enormous, steady defense and power from a position that generated none the last 2 to 3 years.
Slow start, but he's been steady since then. A lot of doubles. And he too has to deal with the shift. The Brewers a little more aggressive on the shift against Peralta than most teams are. They have a different book on him. 3 infielders on the left side, and Overbay so far off the bag he's going to have to hustle to get to first on a ground ball to the left side. I mean, he's playing almost the second base position, isn't he?
To me, it's too far. I mean, he's got to get to the bag as fast as he can, then turn around, and the ball might be there.
I guess the reality is he's just got to beat Peralta there.
Johnny fly to right center, first time up. The 1-2 pitch.
Up and in.
Peralta shaking his head a bit. Now 2-2. Popped up left side. Ramirez is over, and that'll find the seats out of play.
Has a feel of one of those games where maybe the Cardinal offense has taken Adam Wainwright for granted. You can't expect him to keep going out there and finding a way to put up 0 after 0 all night. You've got to find a way to break through against Fiers before it's too late.
The 2-2 to Johnny Peralta, and he struck him out. 4 tonight for Fiers. The Cardinals' lone runner tonight was a walk by Descalso to start the third. Once on tap is brought to you by Budweiser. Kyle Loesch against Shelby Miller. Miller has looked like a different pitcher his last 4 times out.
Command has been better. Fastball command especially, and He went from a guy who was among the league leaders in walks in the first half to a walk a game at most.
Interesting defense here with Molina, who can spray it everywhere, and for the most part is hitting the ball to the right side, and you wonder if his hand is in large part due to that. And yet they've got, again, Overbay way off the bag at first base. It looks like Yadi's trying to go that way.
Exactly.
He's one of the guys that I think when he digs in the box, he really does survey the defense, and he has such good back control. Not to say that he does it every time, but does have an idea of where he's trying to put the ball. And an 0-2 pitch to the Cardinal catcher.
There are those that say that batters cannot direct a baseball, and I think I could get into a little debate with them about that, especially some very good hitters who are known for being able to do that. Ozzie Smith could do that. Find holes and aim at them.
0-2 pitch. Bounced in the dirt.
I don't believe I've ever seen a player who could do more to get a hit past a first baseman holding a runner on than Ozzie Smith, especially at the end of his career. He got to be so good. He would hit the inside pitch there. He would hook the outside pitch, and you could see in his approach that that's what he was planning to do. And he had a lot of first to third situations because he could hit the ball past the first baseman and in that hole in the right field.
2-2 the count. Cardinals in search of their first base hit. Fires with a no-hitter here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th.
Did you just jinx him?
I don't believe in those, but if I did, so be it. And a strikeout of Molina. That's 5 tonight. Yadi having words with the home plate umpire, Manny Gonzalez. Looked to be a pretty good pitch.
I think he thinks it was low. Was it? Nope.
Coverage all season long. Previews, recaps, videos, and more. And the latest analysis from our beat reporter, Stan McNeil. All at FoxSportsMidwest.com. So Adam Wainwright back to work. 6th inning rolls in of a scoreless game. Aramis Ramirez has grounded out to third and also lined out. Then we'll see Ryan Braun and Parra. The Roberto Clemente nominee for Milwaukee is the man on deck, Ryan Braun. And that's hit out of play. For the Cardinals, Jason Mott with a future that is undoubtedly uncertain here in St. Louis. Trying to recover from Tommy John, trying to get the velocity back to where it was in years past. And a ground ball that is hit to short. There's Peralta.
Boy, you just want to have a party every time you get a Ramos Ramirez out, don't you?
Especially with Wainwright on the mound. Ramos with great numbers. And I thought you brought up a great point. You know, Ramirez's numbers against Lynn, something like 2 for 18, 2 for 19, and very good numbers against Wainwright. So you ask the question, well, why? What's the difference? Well, Lynn's a fastball pitcher. Wainwright obviously has a great curveball, and I vividly remember so many times, well, there's 230 plus of them, but I wonder how many of those, though, have been hit with curveballs in which he's just mashed St. Louis.
Curveballs, sliders, changeups, just off-speed pitches.
Braun to third, and Carpenter gets him.
By the way, both pitchers, Dan, very good at pitch count so far.
Wainwright has walked 2, struck out 4. He's allowed 5 hits. The AT&T fan photo. And it brings in Parra, who is hit into a double play and also a single into right. Toughest inning was back in the 4th. And the bases loaded and Gene Segura up, and he lined out. That kept Milwaukee off the board. It's also been his busiest inning. So here is Parra. Homered last night. And a curveball drops in for strike 1. Wainwright, though, has been here before. You talk about a big game pitcher. This is it.
I like his curveball today. I think it's sharper. I don't necessarily think it has a bigger break in terms of where it starts and where it ends up. I just think it's sharper. And I think his delivery has something to do with that.
Past the diving Carpenter, who is playing in. Holiday will hold Parra to a single. 2 for 3.
Carpenter in on the grass gives you a little less range from left to right because you're so close. You have to guard against the bunt, respect the speed of Parra. And Manny's had a good series. Or Gerardo, excuse me.
Overbay is grounded out and also walked. That pitch taken for a ball outside. Something got into the eye of Yadier Molina. Enough time is called. The home plate umpire checking on Yadi, who says he's all right. He's still fiddling with it. There are certain things you can do to alleviate that issue, and I know you've dealt with that before, Rick, especially on some broadcasts. You guys have seen players that get something in their eye. What do they do? It's just simple eye drops, or is it something
simple
specific?
Saline solution, and trainers are on the alert for that.
Two and 0.
Vision very important to players, Dan. We talk about it as it relates to hitting, but you know, Yadi's got to catch all these deliveries from Wainwright with the late movement, the high velocity.
2-0 is tapped foul. I found it incredibly interesting when Carlos Beltran was here. And I said, what are some of the unique things that you do to improve yourself as a baseball player? And he said, probably the most unique thing that I do is that I'll get a pitching machine, put numbers on balls, and stand in the batter's box and turn up the velocity to 120, 130 miles an hour and try to see the ball all the way in. If I could get the number, even better, which is obviously very tough to do. But he said it was like weightlifting, if you will, for your eyes, training your eyes.
I believe that's going to be the next wave in baseball. I think that's going to become a pretty standard workout routine. There, everybody's into lifting and stretching, and all those things are good. But I think training the eyes, there's probably more to be said and done in that area.
3-2 the count on Lyle Overbay. Runner at first is Parra with a left-handed bat up. Adams moves back into a defensive position. Parra off with his pitch. Wainwright would love to have strikeout number 5 right here. And he got him. 5 tonight for Waino. Strike. Friday, September 19th. Come see the Cards take on the Reds. Stay in your seat after the game to watch a dazzling fireworks display. The arch has the backdrop, and tickets are available for Friday's game at cardinals.com/promotions. Only base runner of the night for the Cardinals is Daniel Descalso, and there's one of my favorites, and I mean one of my favorites of all time, the great Bernie Federko. You talk about a unbelievable person.
Oh yeah,
Bernie Federko. He was one of my groomsmen at my wedding.
Was he?
Yes, he was. Daniel pops it up left side, and it's out of play. The retired number 24, Bernie Federko, and he'll be back on the Blues broadcast, and that's I'll tell you what, that'll be here before you know it.
Yes, it will.
I believe they start training camp either tomorrow or Friday. A swing and a miss, and fires. Is yet to allow a hit tonight. He has struck out 3 in a row and now 6 overall. No hits allowed. Talked about the Cardinals and the great run they've been on with their pitching. The Brewers starters since August 9th. Look at that. 6-2, 1.74 ERA. Mike Fiers has been tremendous.
Yeah, think about the others who are 6-7 with an ERA of almost 5. That includes Kyle Loesch. It includes Gallardo and Peralta. I mean, that's a pretty good starting 5 for Milwaukee. Add Matt Garza to that, and you just wonder how they've kind of fallen apart as far as their rotation is concerned since that date.
Peter Borges struck out back in the 3rd inning. And the 1-0 pitch to Peter. Up and in. The umpire walking out in front of home plate, staring back at the pitcher a little bit.
Almost hits Borges. In fact, I thought it did. It just ticked off the glove. I knew I heard something, but it was the glove and not Borges.
I thought the same thing.
He made no indication that it did hit him, but I was surprised at first. There's that fastball just kind of running it up and in on a right-hander.
Three balls and 1 strike. Brewers, obviously the numbers stand out, but they have to be thrilled to see Fiers bounce back. They didn't know what they were going to get tonight in what is a must-win game for them. Borges hits a fly ball into right center. There's Gomez. 2 down.
And that was a very real conversation they were having about not knowing what they were going to get. There was high levels of concern.
Saturday, MLB returns to Fox. Tigers and Royals square off in a crucial American League Central showdown. Then on Fox Sports 1, Cardinals and Reds. Action starts at 11:30, continues at 6. You can also see it at Fox Sports Go. Cardinals still looking for their first base hit. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th, and Wainwright a swing and a miss. He struck out swinging back in the 3rd. What is it about Fiers that's made him special here tonight? He has been special.
He's really painting is what he's doing. He's going outside. He's got the ball moving inside. Again, not overpowering in terms of velocity, but the command has been really good. And again, I think there's something about his over-the-top delivery that makes it a little hard to pick up. I think his pitches. Changeup's been good. And there's the curveball that's been good. By the way, on this date, 1968, Gaylord Perry no-hit the Cardinals. And the following day, Ray Washburn no-hit San Francisco in response.
Up the middle. No-hitter tonight. And a base hit from Adam Wainwright to break up the no-no.
You did a bad job of jinxing it last inning. I thought I'd try.
Hallelujah. Cardinals got a hit.
Well, you need a little more than that, obviously, but it's a start.
It's a start. Here they come. No hitter is broken up. You got to get into it, Orton. Let's go.
Those guys were. Starting staff takes a lot of pride in their ability to help themselves. Now make it hurt, Matt Carpenter.
2 outs, runner at first. Carpenter twice has flied out to center. Fiers' reaction, he just kind of threw his hands up like, of all people that get the hit off me, it's Adam Wainwright. You gotta be kidding me. Outfield is deep for Matt Carpenter. Big gap in right center field. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Hit out of play. With Wainwright running at first and a left-handed bat at the plate, Overbay is about 2, maybe 3 steps off the bag, so not the traditional way to hold the runner on. And he'll move off that bag here momentarily.
I still like it better when they're behind the pitcher instead of in front, because I think it gives you more range. That was the old way to do it. You just kind of stand right behind him instead of in front of him. And I think part of this is you want to not be obscured by the runner, but it cuts down your range.
1-1. Good cut by Carpenter, fouled back. And now it's 1-2.
And what I mean, Dan, is just stand behind the runner, have your glove in between where the pitcher leading off is and first base, and then take a few steps back and slowly move back. And the pitcher's not gonna, he can't see you, and he may have a coach helping him, but Wainwright's not going to steal second. So give yourself a better chance to have more range at first base if you're Lyle Overbay. Not sure why teams have gone to this style.
Did he hold up? He did. 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's a 9-1 Pittsburgh lead over Boston. That's in the bottom of the 8th. The 2-2. And goodbye. Strikeout number 7 for Fiers. Catches Carpenter. That will send us to the 7th. Wainwright, the first Cardinal hit, the only Cardinal hit. Mike Fiers has been sensational tonight.
And a little emotional. Gets the nasty curveball, pounds his glove. Good pitching here tonight.
Except the 1 hit by Adam Wainwright last inning. The Subway in-game box score. Segura, Fiers, and Gomez coming up for Milwaukee. The starters comparison as Wainwright is pitching into the 7th. Adam had 68 pitches. That's it.
And a lot more to tell you about when you look at that. The starters comparison. He and Fiers have been outstanding here tonight. Wainwright's allowed 6 hits, but really has been in command of this game, and Fiers has been even better.
17 consecutive innings without a run by the Cardinals offense. St. Louis has not had a man in scoring position tonight.
Think we can talk Ron Renicky into pinch hitting for Fiers?
Not this inning.
No.
No, sir. Segura with the bases loaded, lined out. The best opportunity for Milwaukee to end the top of the fourth. And he's 0 for 2. Drops down a bunt. Carpenter gloves and throws and makes the play.
Everybody says bunting a curveball should be easier, and I'm not sure I agree with everybody. I mean, it's kind of a common baseball thing that, you know, curveballs are easy to bunt because the ball's going down, but I think that last movement, he ends up bunting it a little harder than he wanted to. I just think controlling where the ball goes when you've got a pitcher imparting that kind of spin on it is tougher than it looks. In my mind, the high fastball is still the toughest pitch to bunt of all, but I don't think a curveball is much easier.
1 out, nobody on, and an 0-1 pitch to Fiers, who is struck out and tapped back to Wainwright. 0-2. 22 of 27 first pitch strikes for Adam tonight. And he waves at it and strikes out. That's 6 strikeouts for Adam Wainwright.
Showed no mercy there.
Carved him up.
Oh, man.
0-2 breaking ball that falls off the table and out of the zone. Goodbye. With 2 down, it's Carlos Gomez, who has 2 hits. An infield hit in the third, and he's singled to right. Also struck out back in the first. That pitch at 92.
That one hung up there a little bit by Wainwright, and a pretty good swing from Gomez.
Here's a 1-1.
With all of what we say about Gomez and his speed and his defensive ability and his ability to hit, also a guy that has power and a .331 average with runners in scoring position. He drives in runs too from that leadoff spot.
Three and 2.
That low strike has been there all night. We've seen a number of pitches called there, and both Fiers and Wainwright keep going down there, and they're getting that borderline call, which I, of course, have no problem with.
3-2 pitch. Gomez pops it foul and out of play.
Dan, I keep going back to it, but there is a discernible difference in the pace of Adam Wainwright's delivery. I don't mean the velocity of his pitches, maybe that too, but he is much quicker to the plate.
3-2. Right field. There's Jay. Milwaukee has been held scoreless through 7. It'll be Jay leading things off for the St. Louis Cardinals, followed by Holiday and Adams. A good one tonight here in St. Louis. off.
Drop the beat line.
A base hit to right field for John Jay. Oh, what a catch by Jay. This ball is hammered. John Jay has tied it up. Base hit into right for the red-hot John Jay. John Jay, some of the exciting moments that he's been a part of this year. Cardinals with one hit, no score. And Jay looks at a ball as Fires is approaching the 90 pitch mark here tonight. Popped up left side. Ramirez giving chase along with Segura. And it is Ramirez who makes the catch. What a play with his back to the infield. And Jay is retired for the first out here in the bottom of the seventh.
Not an easy play, and we keep talking about Terry Pendleton every time we see a play like this where you catch one kind of over your head like a wide receiver. And Ramirez does not show a lot of emotion very often, and you can kind of misread that as a guy that seems to be a little apathetic. And the Brewers say he's been nothing of the sort. He's really worked hard, got himself in better shape.
Holiday with a high fly ball hit down the left field line. Stay fair. It is a foul ball. Foul ball. And strike one on Matt Holliday.
Oh my. Just how close was this? Fires doesn't want to think about it, but we're going to show it to you.
Oh.
A foot?
Maybe. Here's an 0-1. One ball and one strike on Holiday, who is grounded out to second. Also flied out to right. September baseball. Who will make the first mistake where every pitch, especially in this series, is crucial? Big gap in left center. Outfield is deep. And a 2-1 pitch. The 3-1. And a walk to Holiday. Moments ago, the reactions on both sides to this near home run.
Yeah, hoping for different outcomes. Please, please. Willing it foul. Leaning the other way.
Second walk issued by Fires. Here is Adams, who is 0 for 2 and batting against the shift. Finds a hole. Holiday on his way to third. Oh, he slipped. They're going to wave in Holiday. Here he comes to the plate. He is safe. Sometimes you got to have a little luck. No argument from Lucroy. Gomez slipped, and with that, Holiday waved in.
Oquendo sends him. Close play at the plate. The sweep tag not in time.
Holiday's safe. He is such a good base runner. He runs hard. So close on the tag. And how about the umpire right on top of it? Manny Gonzalez misses him there. Misses him all the way around. Holiday grabbing the plate.
A base hit. No RBI. E8 on the plate. Error on the center fielder, Carlos Gomez. And now it's Peralta. A shift against Peralta. Somehow Adams beat the shift. Breaking ball and a strike. Sometimes you got to have a little luck.
And then you just take that luck and that opportunity and make it hurt even more. Press the advantage.
When he got back up, I don't think he was anticipating that Holiday would be trying to score, but he did. They took a chance and it paid off.
Got some guys that like to show off their arms too.
2-1 on Peralta.
I believe that's part of what Jose Oquendo was anticipating, that they would throw to the wrong base, throw behind the runner, and give Jose some credit for picking out that opportunity.
The pickoff and back in safely. Let's take another look at Matt Holliday scoring on the base hit by Adams.
He's hustling right off the bat because he's thinking 3. And as he's coming into third, just speeds up a little more as Oquendo waves him home.
A 2-1 pitch to Peralta. Here it comes.
I think I could make a case. I'd have to think about whether or not there are 2 or 3 others that you might throw into the mix. I think you could make a case that Matt Holliday is the best Cardinals base runner. I don't mean the fastest, but the best base runner.
Activity now in the Milwaukee bullpen. None for St. Louis. The 2-2 pitch. On its way. Peralta, base hit into center. Here comes the big man. Rumbling home. Thrown out in time. 2-0 St. Louis.
Couple of runs for Adam Wainwright. Aggressive base running. The reason. Adams also runs the base as well, and Oquendo being very aggressive here in the Cardinals' 7th, and why not?
Yadier Molina at the plate. 2-0 St. Louis. Molina, a liner into right. The catch is made. And back to first goes Peralta. Now Descalso. And Peralta back in safely. Big gap in right center for Descalso. Daniel with a hard hit ball to second. Scooter Gennett makes the play. The Cardinals, though, strike first in this game. Fires got away with one, but not for long. Holiday with everything he's got. The first run, they added another. 2-0 St. Louis. Let's go to our studio with a Bomberito Sports Update. There's some that thought that Matt Adams may have missed the bag at third. Our replays showed that he did not, apparently. And his run makes it a 2-0 St. Louis lead.
I think the problem is he's hitting it with the foot you're not expecting him to hit it with, the inside foot. And you're kind of focused on him hitting the bag with his right foot, but he does touch the bag with his left foot and scores that second run. I had that same thought when I saw it live. He's definitely hitting the base, but not the textbook way to round third.
1 ball and 1 strike on Scooter Gennett. And a liner into left center. Borges won't get there, but cuts it off. And the tying run will come to the plate here in the top of the 8th.
Jeanette, a very pesky hitter. He gets kind of a hanging curveball in the middle of the plate and lines it.
Take a look at our Mazda game summary. 2-0 St. Louis. Fires 6 2/3. Gomez 2 for 4. Wainwright 7 innings, and Peralta 1 for 3. Fires, by the way, is gone 7. 48th sellout this year. Crowd tonight of 44,480. 44480. How about 2? Out at second. It's a double play. 6, 4, 3. And Descalso not happy at all, it looked like, with what happened there with Scooter Gennett.
Yeah, those two talking to each other after the play at second base. We'll see why. Here's the turn. Descalso throws it. Gennett raising his hands way up in the air, and Descalso doesn't like that. And he's telling him that's not the right way to play the game, and Gennett doesn't understand it.
Ramirez fouls it back with 2 outs. Cardinals have turned 2 double plays. It's now 24 behind Adam Wainwright this year to lead the senior circuit.
I'm not 100% sure on this, but if Gennett raises his hands up to try to block the baseball and it hits him, I think it's a double play anyway, is it not?
Oh, look at this. Backhanded by Carpenter. What a fantastic play down at third. And to answer your question, yes, you're right. Hard hit ball. He's done this twice at Matt Carpenter in this game. StubHub, and you can earn 2% back in fan rewards on every purchase, including Cardinals tickets. Plus, with all-in pricing, there are no surprise fees at checkout. StubHub, your ticket to upgrades and more. What a play moments ago by Matt Carpenter there at third.
Quick hands. And we talked earlier this week about just how sure he is with the throws to first base. You just kind of take that for granted that if he catches it, it's going to be an out. guarding the line, took a double away. Zach Duke has had a very good year in the bullpen for Milwaukee. Appearance number 70 for him. He's the Chevy called to the bullpen, and he has really found a home as a reliever. And we talked about how he drops down and has used that slider from multiple angles to be very tough on left-handers. But his first batter will be a right-hander, Peter Borges.
Beautiful night for baseball. Getting towards late September, and there's nothing better. Playing for something.
Jeanette, by the way, is out there talking to the second base umpire, and they're having a conversation. I'll bet it's about what he did to close out that inning, and maybe the conversation is, you know, is that what happens when it hits my hand? And maybe the umpire trying to throw in his 2 cents to keep that from kind of developing into a problem. But Daniel Descalzo wasn't happy with what Jeanette did to try to break up that double play.
He's talking there with Fieldin Colbrith. Borges chops it to third. Ramirez settles and throws. Looking ahead, the Brewers will have Braun, Parra, and Overbay due up. Zach Duke gets the first out, and a big round of applause for Adam Wainwright. Wainwright broke up the no-hitter being thrown by Fiers. That was back in the 6th inning. A single to center field. Last time against Milwaukee, he went the distance. Will that happen tonight in game number 2 of this series? Just when you think, have the innings caught up and all the pitches, the dead arm, Wainwright has gotten out of that funk and now looking like the ace that we know he is. Goes down to get it and pops it up.
Good timing.
September, I'd say so. Carpenter is hitless tonight. He is lined out to center, fly to center, and struck out.
Giving Wainwright some time to sit down and collect himself after his at-bat. And I'd say the odds are he's going to take this first pitch.
Even if it wasn't Wainwright, it was a pinch hitter, let's say a position player that hit in front of him,
he'd still take it.
And maybe 2. Cardinals are 3 outs away from win number 84. Magic number then would be in single digits. Here's an 0-1. Now 0-2, and that caught Lucroy.
Danny, you pointed out the great play that Matt Carpenter made at third. I mean, just a terrific play. Robbed Ramirez of a double, and I wonder if there's just not enough conversation, and if we don't talk enough about the defense of Matt Carpenter. I mean, the offense is what always comes to mind, his on-base percentage, what he does in that leadoff spot. There's the ball catching Lucroy. But Carpenter is such a good defensive player. He's a smart player. He's made a number of errors this year. A lot of those came in bunches, but
especially early
on. But since then, I think he's developed into a very good third baseman. We know what he did a year ago at second base.
The 0-2, and it's outside. He told me that maybe part of the problem early on was getting acclimated again to third base, even though he had been there all spring. And that was a natural position for him. But also, he got off to a slow start at the plate, and it's human nature that you carry some of those struggles to the field. And he felt that was a part of the issue. But he's had another very good year.
Well, that third base position is a reflex position. It's a step and a dive, maybe. Really, you show your range coming in more than you do left or right. You just have to be quick. And at second base position, it's just an entirely different position in terms of the time that you have to react to a ground ball. You can see how much of a difference it is between where Ramirez is and the second baseman in terms of time. You get different hops. You get a lot of short hops at third. You got a lot of do or die things you got to pick. And I think the reflex
and the speed of it
and all of that combined, I think, was a bit of an adjustment back to the position he used to play.
2-2, Miss Sloan away, so full count on Carpenter. He's among the league leaders, getting a count to 3-2. And we'll do it again. Braun, Para, Overbay, due up. And a high fly ball lifted into shallow right. Ryan Braun makes the catch. We will head to the ninth. Braun, Para, Overbay, due up. Wainwright will try to finish what he started tonight. Remember, the Cardinals did not have a hit until the 6th. Now they're looking for a win. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Braun trying to bunt his way on, and that's strike one.
How about that?
Interesting. They need base runners, but
yeah, and he does run well.
He's among their leaders in stolen bases, as you mentioned, does run well. Cardinals with Jay now in left, and Grichuk is in right. Borges stays in the game in center. Ryan Braun at the plate, the 0-1.
I think that's a bit of a compliment of kind of how he feels about facing Adam Wainwright right now, too.
And career-wise, not great numbers. Tonight, he does have a base hit. Braun with a single to left in the second inning. Here's a 1-1. Now it's 1-2. Wainwright with 4 complete games this year. League leader is Clayton Kershaw. Who else? He's at 6. Don't see that very often, do you? With Molina dropping that ball.
That was a curveball that backed up. He was trying to frame it, trying to keep it on the plate.
Fastball. Got him on the outside corner. Braun can't believe it, and neither can I. Holy smokes. He'll take it. 7 strikeouts. And you gotta love it when it's on Ryan Braun. Goodbye.
Way off the plate. Wainwright gets the call, and that was some kind of a wide plate for Ryan Braun right there, and he wasn't happy.
I can understand why. That hasn't been a strike all night. You want to show me up? Okay. Strike 3. Here's Parra. 2 for 3 tonight. There's strike 1. On pitch. Take it for a ball. That's hit out of play. Parra screaming. He wanted that pitch back. Instead, it's now 1-2. Do it again. And pitch at 95. One-two pitch. And Parra just got a piece. One pitch has been 95 plus.
He did it on his 95th pitch. And you are looking at a guy that wants to finish what he started, as you mentioned, Dan, and he's got that bulldog back.
Molina wants it low, wants it down. The next to Parra. Well, he got it there. 55 feet.
You could see the flinch from Parra, though. And Wainwright did his little hesitation delivery and then picked it up again, trying to get Parra off balance, and it almost worked.
The 2-2. Hit out of play. On its way. Another 2-2. Good battle here. Pitch count at an even 100.
And neither giving in. And you really, the last thing you want to do if you're Wainwright is walk him. And so he's not going to want to go 3-2. Parra is showing that he's just battling at the plate. Doesn't want to get struck out. Crowd behind the man on the mound.
Ground ball right side. There's Descalso. 2 down. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Bud Light. It reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. 44,480 in attendance tonight at Overbay, the final hope for Milwaukee. The Cardinals with a total of 3 hits tonight, but a 2-run lead. Ground ball. Backing up Carpenter. Long throw. Got him. Wainwright. Complete game number 5. 2-0 in the final here in St. Louis.
The first time in his career that Adam Wainwright has 3 shutouts in one season. Shutout number 9. And in command and in control all night long. 9 solid innings from Wainwright. Allowed 7 hits, couple of walks, and he outdueled a very hot pitcher.